I had so much fun. I felt like I was in a Pride and Prejudice episode. My Bridgerton!
I get to be Regency Duchess of Pemberton, and then a Cholder becomes the Duchess.
Run.
You think of that time period, you do think of the sweeping romance.
Shall we?
And there's a real connection that Rogue has with the Doctor.
I'm the Doctor.
Just the Doctor?
Just Rogue.
We were very excited to be dancing and looking like that.
So I think it's simply beautiful to watch.
You ready for this?
It took my breath away. It was so fun.
We've had Maestro, we've had an ambulance, we've had all sorts of enemies in this, but not your classic Doctor Who monster, go and kill him like that. And so that's what I said, please can we do that?
We came with original pitches and ideas and then chatted it over with Russell, and they're really friendly and supportive and kind of what would fit within the series as a whole. We already wanted romance, we love body snatcher, aliens, so that was kind of already there. And then putting it in that more historical setting and making them bird monsters was kind of developed together.
Oh my God, the Cholder are amazing. The Cholder's like crazy bird faces.
We're gonna cosplay this planet to death!
I don't know what I was expecting. Just didn't expect them to still be in their gowns.
I mean, it's a good look.
I want to be him. I want it.
Originally our aliens, though, looked a bit more alien-like, I suppose, in their alien form, and Russell's like, make them bird monsters.
I've got quite a history on Doctor Who of using animals. I've done rhinos, and we've had cats, we've had pigs, and here come the birds.
And don't I look fabulous?
The Cholder's prosthetics was incredible. They completely disappeared.
They sort of scan your head, and then they've made out of latex this mould. Is covered in feathers. It's really beautiful, with a massive beak.
You forgot what they all actually looked like. I have no idea what Indira looks like, actually.
But I remember Indira Varma just coming up to me and just going, "Hi, I'm Indira," and she was in this big bird getup. I was like, "Are you?"
I want to be the Doctor. Who wants to fight for the other one?
You forget that you're wearing it, and so you're just having normal conversations. And then suddenly people will look at you in a certain way and go, "Sorry, this is just too weird."
There's something about bird faces there's something that sits well in that world.
I, of course, could not comment.
So the colours, the ceremony, the show, the flamboyance.
C'est moi!
Just the beauty of birds.
Oh, come now, loves. A party isn't a party without a costume change.
I think it's 8,000 hours in order to get the Cholder makeup on. I think that's what it feels like for them.
Oh, not long, just maybe 3.5 to 4 hours. And then about 45 minutes to take it all off. I've got my chest and neck piece, that gets put on first, and then the head bit, and then last goes the face.
It's warm. It's kind of itchy. If you get something in your eye, there's nothing you can do because you've got like claws on your hands and you don't want to poke your eye out. But other than that, it's completely fine, and actually it helps you get into character a lot more.
It's my first chance on Doctor Who where every member of an alien species looks different. Because normally you just get one mask and you shove it on one person and all the Siluans look the same. For once, all the Cholder birds look different to each other, and I love that. It's a family of birds.
Set and action.
You are a bounty hunter. That is so cool.
So Rogue is basically an alien bounty hunter. So even though I'm dressed Regency, I'm actually in a costume, sort of in a similar way that the Doctor is who the Doctor is, dressing up for each occasion of any particular world that he's in.
I'm here for the money, nothing more.
So where are you taking me?
My ship.
Rogue initially takes the Doctor prisoner and then takes him back to his ship, and Kylie Minogue's involved, and I don't want to say too much because the scene in his ship is so funny.
Classic! This is Rogue's spaceship. It's not as good as the TARDIS at all.
This place is a mess.
I think I found it fun because the TARDIS is generally quite clean. We thought it was fun to just have this kind of opposites vibe.
Dimensionally transcendental.
And so clean.
We were like, well, let's have his ship more scrappy and in a state of disarray. And again, someone that's emotionally just working through some stuff. We were like, well, how can we represent that in his ship?
Rogue, Arnie, you need company.
I live alone.
Rogue is just probably fixing his ship by hand. And so it's going to look a bit more cluttered and in need of love, much like Rogue is.
This is the Asarian ship, a place where Rogue lives and works and creates all sorts of different contraptions and maybe weapons and maybe devices to help him capture people.
It's a trap. Triform on.
Triform activated. In this area, the idea is that it's a central space where Rogue does his most important and delicate work. It's also where he can view holograms and generate images of different planets or look at data or information he needs to check in relation to a job that he might have.
Scanning. Deep scanner confirmed. Shapeshifter.
Transport gate charging. These are benches that we've created. The idea loosely is that they look like a conveyor belt or an elevator that move up and down through the ship to bring different bits and pieces up into the ship for him to work on or construct. That are also recycled from another spaceship we created for Special 2. The walls and the doors of this spaceship are taken from Space Babies. 80% of this is recycled from previous sets that we've put together. The trick is we always want to try and reinvent it. We don't want it to look recycled. We want it to look like it's a new spaceship, but ideally when you first see it, you believe it's a brand new set and it's all built specifically for the Asarian.
It's convenient because I've been wanting some new shelves over there.
Oh, haha. The way we open these doors is a highly technical, mechanical system. So the motor behind these doors is a human called John who works in the prop department. He would push the doors entering like this, and then he'll open the door. And that's how the high-tech doors of Doctor Who work.
Wow. We're shooting a lot of scenes in what feels like a kind of a giant estate that's meant in the show to be one location, but it's 3 different phenomenal historic places. From the shrubbery to the sort of haunted vibes of the inside of some of the homes.
You soak up the atmosphere. We were in Tredegar House last week at night, running through the grounds. It was so beautiful and magical.
So we are back in Tredegar House, home of many Doctor Who's over the years, but this time we're using the grounds and inside as well. In this episode, it's all about one period property, but to give us the various aspects, library, ballroom, we're stitching it together for various houses. So here at Tredegar, we've got the grounds, we've also got the library. A way for us to sort of stitch the 3 together, I mean, it helps certainly, is things like these lanterns. Outside at Margam, you'll see some of these as well, because hopefully it's a bit of a shorthand to suggest, we're still in the same grounds. So here in the wall garden, part of the orangery, it's all still actually in pots. So as soon as we finish, it goes on to another job, including the elephants, which I'm amazed are actually real. We've already built the TARDIS. So this has been here 2 or 3 days now. Any time we build it on set, we cover it in this black cover. Standing outside for 3 days is never going to do any good. So this is just weather protection. The TARDIS is probably the most iconic bit of the show. So it helps us keep a bit of a lower profile. I mean, you say that, but we've then got lighting machines. So I'm not sure how much of a low profile we've got.
There's a great big classic scene in the middle where the hero and the anti-hero dance with each other. They are trying to fight an enemy who live on drama, who live on sensation and appearance and scandal.
We are scandalous.
Jack Murphy is the choreographer of this episode, and he's a phenomenal guy and a phenomenal artist.
And he actually is the choreographer for Bridgerton, so he was on very sort of familiar territory choreographing the Regency dances.
He was explaining to me how dance was not, in this scenario, isn't a performative dance, it's a social dance.
How is this my actual dream?
It's brilliant, isn't it? I think one of the things I do is, because of the acting background, I'm always saying, what are you doing to that person? What do you want from that person? And that's where I feel our recognition of style comes from.
It didn't feel like we were learning anything clinically. It didn't feel like we were learning the dance steps clinically. Like, he'd always root it in artistic intent.
It's like instant Strictly.
The tango has a very particular quality where the eye contact between the two dancers is supposed to be completely unbroken. So we sent our Steadicam operator, Martin, to rehearse with them so that he could plan this shot with them, and so that they knew where he would be and he knew where they would be. But that also meant that Jonathan and Ncuti had to learn the dance properly, and that there was no sort of hiding behind an edit. We have to use one whole unbroken take.
And I was learning how to follow, and I'd never followed before. And I started to cry in the dance rehearsal because there was something about releasing and letting somebody lead that you rarely get the experience of as a man, particularly in this kind of formal dance.
I watched their tango and I cried. I wasn't even on camera and I just cried because I was like, I feel so emotional and like proud. I don't know, it was just such a revolutionary scene.
There's a moment in the dance where the lights go out and it's a spotlight on the two of us dancing. There was no one else in the room but Ncuti. It took me to a completely different place with him, like we were in the stars together dancing.
The worlds I could show you, Rogue. Let's argue across the stars.
Don't forget to click below to subscribe to the official Doctor Who YouTube channel.